What are the true pros and cons of living in the suburbs of Philadelphia? I may be biased because I grew up here, but I made sure to include all of the major pros and cons because if I was moving to somewhere new, I would want to know both great things and not so great things. Hey there, I'm Corey Benhart. I'm a local realtor here in the suburbs of Philadelphia. I specialize in helping people move to the great state of Pennsylvania and more specifically, the Philadelphia suburbs. All of my contact information is below. I would love to help you find your perfect Pennsylvania home. All right, so the first pro that we're going to talk about is the location of the suburbs. There are a total of 4 counties that make up the suburbs and they surround the city of Philadelphia. Those 4 counties are Delaware County, Chester County, Montgomery, and Bucks County. The suburbs as a whole are close to 2 of the largest cities in the whole country, one being New York City and the other being Philadelphia. Because of the close proximity, I find that those that need to commute into Center City, Philadelphia every day typically live in Montgomery or Delaware County, but overall just about any of these counties could get you right into Center City, Philadelphia in about an hour or so. One of my favorite parts about living in the suburbs is how centrally located we are to so many things around us. For example, we're only about an hour to Philadelphia, 2 hours to New York City, an hour and a half to the Pocono Mountains, and only about 2 hours from the Jersey Shore. We're also only about a 3-hour plane ride or a 12-hour drive to Florida, so you'll find that a lot of Philadelphia area residents vacation in Florida. If you're a big traveler, the largest airport nearby the suburbs is the Philadelphia International Airport, which is only about 30 to 60 minutes away, depending on where you live. Speaking of where you live, let's go over to the next pro, which is all of the different living style options that we have here in the suburbs. One of the best and most unique things about living in the suburbs is all of the different living options that we have here. If you want to live on a farm or a home with tons of acres, we have it here in the suburbs. If you'd prefer a residential neighborhood, a condo building, a 55 or older community, or just about any other living style, you'll be able to find it here in the suburbs. We have tons of different housing styles, but we also have such a wide range of housing price points as well. Some towns and counties are more expensive than others, but the range here is pretty significant. You could find a home in the $100,000 to $200,000 range, but you can also find homes ranging all the way up to the multi-million-dollar estates and everything in between. The next pro that we're going to talk about is the cost of living. It'll be pretty difficult to go over the specific cost of living just because we're talking about such a vast area and multiple different counties, because every town, county, and even zip code has its own different cost of living. I made videos all about the different counties and even some of the more specific towns as well. Depending on where you're moving from, some areas might be a lot more expensive or affordable than others. The cost of living will also depend on the housing style that you want, because it's likely to cost a lot less to live in an area that's full of farmhouses and tons of land, as opposed to towns if you're going to buy a home right in the center of a very walkable town. As an overall state, Pennsylvania has a much lower cost of living compared to most of the East Coast, such as New York, New Jersey, Delaware, etc. All right, next let's talk about another pro, which is the education here in the Philadelphia suburbs. There are a total of 500 school districts all throughout the state of Pennsylvania, and according to niche.com, which ranked the top 10 best districts in the entire state, 6 of the top 10 are located right in the Philadelphia suburbs. Starting with number 1, which is Radnor Township School District, which is located in Wayne, PA, followed by Tredyffrin Easttown School District, also in the Wayne area, Lower Merion School District, located in Ardmore, and also the district that Kobe Bryant graduated from right before going into the NBA. Next is Unionville Chadsford School District in Kenneth Square, Wallingford Swarthmore School District in Wallingford, and lastly, the School District of Upper Dublin, located in the Maple Glen, Fort Washington area. The Philadelphia metro area is also known to have some of the best universities in the entire state and in the entire country. The University of Pennsylvania, which was ranked as the 7th best Ivy League school in the entire country, followed by Lehigh and Drexel University, both located in the Philadelphia area. Of all of my clients that I've helped move to the Philadelphia area, they have have all said how much they love being surrounded by just so many different things to do. Besides being relatively close to Philadelphia, New York City, the Pocono Mountains, and the Jersey Shore, there are so many things to do in the suburbs of Philadelphia. You're surrounded with tons of individual towns that are very walkable and offer plenty of local shopping and dining options. Just as an example, think about all of the shopping and restaurants that are in a major city like Philadelphia, but kind of break that apart and scatter it all throughout such a wide area, because most towns throughout the Philadelphia suburbs have a very walkable downtown area. So each town has tons of restaurants and shopping, but each with its own feel. There are also some great rivers and lakes throughout the suburbs as well. So if you like to explore, boat, fish, or swim, those would be great for you to visit as well. We have countless dog parks, playgrounds, walking and jogging trails, and hiking paths as well. I can guarantee that you will never be bored with all of the different things to do just in this area alone. All right, so now let's move over to the cons of living in the Philadelphia suburbs, starting with the first con being the food. And I know what you might be thinking is, well, you just said how many great restaurants there are. I thought the East Coast was known for all of the great food, and that's absolutely true. We're known to have some of the best pizza, bagels, cheesesteaks, pretzels, and so much more. But if you found a common trend there, not one of those things is very healthy for you. We have so many different varieties of food and different restaurants here in the suburbs. They're just not the healthiest of options. Let's say if we have 10 restaurants, there's only really about 2 or 3 of them that are health conscious. We definitely have healthy restaurant options. They're just not as common as maybe some of the restaurants that serve some of those foods, such as the pizzas, cheesesteaks, etc. The next con that we're going to go over is the weather. If you're not familiar with Pennsylvania weather, we have all 4 seasons here, which is great. It's a huge attraction for a lot of people to move here because we can enjoy all 4 different seasons all throughout the year. So you see the beautiful leaf changes during the fall, all of the flowers come up during the spring, you enjoy the hot summers and the cold winters, but there's obviously a downside to that as well. Pennsylvania gets an average of 38 inches of snow per year, with an average winter temperature range between 19 and 33 degrees. The last couple of years, we've been pretty lucky that we really haven't had a huge snowstorm like we normally would get in the past. Knock on wood for now. Our summers here are very, very humid. So if you're not familiar with an East Coast summer, I would definitely suggest to come out and visit before you move here. Make sure that you can handle the humid summer, because it's a lot different than the West Coast where it is just a dry heat. If you haven't experienced the Pennsylvania summer or winter, please come out and visit before you move to make sure that you're comfortable with the humidity and also how cold it could get here in Pennsylvania during the winter time. Speaking of the weather, another con that we have to go over is the road conditions. We have horrible road conditions here in Pennsylvania because of all of the salt and snow that we get during the winter. Because of all of that salt and snow, Pennsylvania is constantly ranked for having some of the worst potholes in the entire country year after year. So if you do end up moving here, plan on a couple of popped tires, because our potholes can get pretty big. And the reason that we have so many is that by the time that the road crews finally get to almost finishing all of the roads, that's when winter comes right around along again, and we're right back where we started, and it is just a vicious cycle year after year. If the Philadelphia suburbs seem like a great fit for you, I would love to help you find your perfect Pennsylvania home. All of my contact information is below. I would love to hear from you, and until then, I will see you over on this next video.